Aces high, deuces low. Call it right and win your dough on Card Sharks on YouTube. And now, here's the host of Card Sharks, Erin Perry, and Chris Kennedy, her co-host. Yeah.
Lovely poem. Gene Wood would be proud of you.
Thank you so much. I would have loved to meet Gene Wood. Oh my God. Gene Wood was my idol, along with Rod Roddy.
Delightful, delightful man. So funny, so sweet.
Yes, and Johnny Olson, of course. I remember his.
You know what? I didn't work with Johnny all that much. Of course, but Gene Wood, Gene Wood was the first announcer and the guy who was there most of the time, and I was friendly with Gene, so cool. He holds a place in my heart. Of course, nothing against the great Johnny Olson, of course. I just didn't know him so well.
I know, neither did I. We wish we did, though. We wish we did. Yes. Today is Card Sharks 45th. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you are tuning in, I want to do some shout outs to my friends who are in the music business, like Erin is, Brandon Hands, Eve Brescia, Vicky Rosenberg. We have Marianne Miles. We have Ronald Onion, and we have. I want to plug real quick Alex Perez, my friend. He's on YouTube and he hosts Card Sharks on there himself. He hosts his own version.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
I'll give you the link. So you want to give him your feedback. And your dad, Erin, rubbed his style on me so much. I mean, I grew up with him. I grew up very much with him. And ever since, I wanted to host my own version of Card Sharks on YouTube as well.
Oh, how cool. I did not know that. That's excellent.
Speaking of which, I want to show you something. I'll start with this since this is in the way. We have to do this the correct way. Jim Perry's microphone.
I was just going to say that because they could not use because of the set. They tried other microphones and they had horrible audio problems and they had to go old school with that. Oh my gosh, how cool you have that.
Yeah. And they finally said, this gave another problem too. So they said, well, they'll use this. They're going to use, and I have the other mic actually somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
I can find it. They actually went to this microphone for a little while, then they might have went to this microphone. These are how they are with the wires. Take it off and stand by. I'm just going to pick up. Going to get this out of my storage.
Oh, well, if we're going to show and tell, I'm going to pull out something. But it's not a Card Sharks thing, but I can show you. I can show you something else too.
Oh my goodness. Here you go. When you come back, Erin, I'm going to show you. This is my this is Jim's microphone.
Awesome. That is so cool.
A Shure SM61. The one before was an RE55 from Electro Voice, and the one before that was a 635A.
Kind of stuff. I have this, which I posted on Instagram today.
Yeah, show us that card.
Isn't it cool? This is from obviously the last day of shooting.
Yes.
And God, that is not my handwriting, because my handwriting would not be that tidy. It was probably our lovely cute card person's handwriting.
Oh my, I forget his name.
Oh, two is in the horrible. I'm so sorry. Signed by many of the lovely, lovely, wonderful people from the show. And I gotta tell you, Dad had to work hard to flip these cards, and he felt obligated to make sure that was a snap. I mean, he worked that so it was a snap to make it, effective and all that. And it's hard. it's hard work.
He wanted to make it exciting and give it that sound effect.
He really did.
Back to the radio days, and
it's not Card Sharks, but since you're showing off, I thought I'd show something I have.
Yeah,
this is from Dick's Podium.
I loved it.
Yeah, I poor Mr. Bob Stewart, my beloved man. I love that man. I miss that man.
Aww.
Oh yes, I learned so much from him, Mr. Bob Stewart. And back when the show was, I forgot if we got canceled or we were waiting to see about a pickup or whatever, and we weren't sure if it was going to come back. So I do believe it was my dear friend Francine Bergman, who was the producer at the time, and I think she was the one who said, "Go get it, go get it." So it was Velcro because we would switch the show. It was the same set for the $25,000 pyramid for CBS and the syndicated $100,000 pyramid. We would just change this on Dick's podium and the big sign behind the big board, and that was it, right? And so she said, "Go get it," and I grabbed it and I took it home. And then when the show got picked up, I was like, I heard Bob on the phone, and he's like, "We can't find it. We can't find it. So we'll just order a new one." I didn't know that they were looking for it. So they ordered a new one for the set, and I'm sorry, Bob, I didn't know. But anyway, so this was my pyramid thing. So I have the Card Sharks card and the pyramid thing. But I do have something else I'll share with you.
Sure.
From Dad's Canadian game show days.
Speaking of which, Pip Wedge, producer, is tuning in. He says he can hear you, but not me on YouTube, apparently. Yeah. So I'm trying to check but go ahead and show away while I.
Yeah, Pip and I have emailed a few times. A lovely, lovely man. He and Dad were friends. I mean, like really. And Liz, anyway, so this is the Definition board game.
I love that one. I want to get one of those for myself.
This sucker's old. I don't know. I mean, I've never opened it. The plastic's fallen off. But I thought you'd appreciate that, and some of the people at home, as we say in Game Show Land.
Yes. Now, to Philip, I want to say this. I am recording a backup of my audio, so in the post-production, when I do the final product, my audio should be there. But I wonder why it's not going on YouTube.
I hear you. So I hope that helps. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a little. I'm glad I'm doing this with you, regardless of how this turns out.
Well, if people can't hear you, I can repeat your questions.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But of course.
I wanted to show you my version of the Card Sharks. This is, of course, was from the new version that appeared in the mid-'80s.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And there's the 3. And then I'll show you a face card, too, for those that want to see it. Jack Scare Me.
Isn't it all this memorabilia? It's just so, I love this stuff.
These are much smaller, I tell you.
Much smaller. Wow.
These are 5 by 7, and this one must have been 2 feet by 1 feet, as he said on the
Because you need to be 6'4" like Dad was to flip this sucker.
And have a lot of muscle. Did he have muscles? Yes, he did.
Well, he was very lean. He kept himself very lean for camera, of course. But he did his calisthenics in the morning. He did his push-ups and his sit-ups and all that stuff. So he was very fit, and he played tennis. He very much loved tennis, and he was a pretty good player. Now, Mom might disagree with that. Dad had a wicked serve. Yeah, slice.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I was wondering, what was a usual, like, first of all, I want to say that Jim's birthday was November 9th, 1933. He was born in Camden, New Jersey,
yes.
Which is right. I currently live in Toms River.
Is that near?
That is where I live, yes.
Oh, but is it near Camden? I'm sorry, I don't know.
It's a little far east. Camden is near Philly.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me explain to Philip. I apologize. I'm going to explain to Philip, however. I am having problems with the, sorry to hold you up, audio, but I will, if I continue audio.
Yes, you're correct. He was born in Camden, New Jersey, November 9th, 1933.
Yes, November 9th. Yeah.
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm a Libra.
Ah,
I'm I'm the one before him, a Libra.
and I'm the one right next to you, the Virgo. Like
Cool.
triple Virgo with some Libra in there too. And it
Yeah.
makes me a little more sane.
Absolutely. Yes. So, what was a usual like for Jim? A usual day like, I'm sorry, I should say. I'm sorry, my head's going through the audio issues and everything.
Usual day for dad, it really depends what decade we're talking about.
Yeah, when he was taping his game shows, like I'm saying Card Sharks, Definition,
Mhm.
Headline Hunters. Let's start with that.
Well,
Maybe
because
Sale.
he was doing Card Sharks and then later Sail in the US, he was still shooting in Canada.
Yes, Definition
So,
and Headline.
right. So he would be flying to Canada to shoot there. And he was also hosting the Miss Canada pageant and other things. So he was flying up to Canada a lot and quite often. And then, of course, he'd be shooting in LA. And then he would be working his butt off and tired. So he would enjoy some days off. He's the kind of person who could read the newspaper from front to back, like read the entire paper. And that for him on a day off was just a joy. Dad could really, he was it's funny. Mom was the one who went on the spiritual search path, and I'm really grateful for all the wonderful teachers she introduced all of us to. But the minute I learned about reincarnation, I was like, okay, dad was a reincarnated like Buddhist monk, because he could be in great stillness. So he could just sit and contemplate. And he very much liked to do that. So he would be sitting in kind of contemplative meditations. And that led to his books, of course, and other writings. And so he was a deep thinker.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, did he ever? What time did he wake up in the morning? Like, did he start his mornings early?
You know what? That depended. I don't recall him being religious about his wake up time, but he was religious about his midday nap. He 15, 20-minute nap every day on the set of Card Sharks. After the lunch break, he would go and he'd have lunch with all of us, and he and Jonathan Goodson would be taking turns bringing bottles of wine to the lunch cafe,
Yeah.
and also with the directors, and then so it was they had a very sociable experience. But then he would go off and have his 15 minutes to himself to just chill and close his eyes, and he was religious about that.
Yes. I'm glad I take midday naps myself half the time, more depending on how I feel. So depending on the day, he would get up early or late, I guess.
Yeah, yes, and of course when he was doing the DJing days of WABC late night, we had to tiptoe around the house and not wake him up because he was hopefully sleeping late if he could. We probably were not as quiet as we should have been.
I understand. I'm sure he would have
true.
understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember he did another show called
No,
I
of course
Bet.
he was playing tennis. That's the other thing. He
And
loved,
he had to get up and get his tennis in. Yeah. And he was running too. I heard he was a runner.
Oops, I'm sorry, I lost.
I'm sorry. I heard he was a runner.
No, he was not. He was a walker.
Oh,
No, not at all. Hated running. He was a dedicated walker. He and I would go for like nice little speed walks together. He purposely, when they lived in Oregon, he would never have the paper delivered to the house. He would walk to go get it. So he always had his routine. So whether they were living in Florida or living in Oregon or living in LA, he always had his routine, and it usually involved walking about a mile to go someplace to get his paper and sometimes a donut, and then come home with the paper and his donut and with his coffee. And that was his little morning routine if he wasn't, shooting.
Yes, I got to start doing that myself more often.
Yeah.
I don't drive, of course, so a bonus for me. I
Yeah, there
remember,
you go. It's great exercise. And again,
yeah,
it's that contemplative thing. When we lived in Canada and we lived in the woods in the 1846 log house, again, he would just go for walks in the woods and just connect with nature and contemplate things.
absolutely. Because everybody said he was a runner throughout the internet, but they were wrong.
No, no, not at all. God, never saw him run.
Thank you so
No,
much.
no, the only time I ever saw him run was on a tennis court.
Yeah, that's when he had to pick it up. But
Yeah,
thanks for debunking that
sure.
legend. I'm gonna
I
be
don't know
nice and call it a
where
legend.
he came from. No, never, never, never was a jogger. I mean, maybe in his high school days when he played basketball, probably, but never. But once I was on the planet, nope.
Thank you for that. You're like the closest thing to Jim that I've ever seen besides his wife.
And my brother Sean, his son.
Yeah, yeah, his son Sean. Yeah, he was. I read a lot about him. Thank you. Yeah, I read a lot about Sean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I was
having
gonna
a
get to him.
successful career.
Yeah, he actually worked with Reg Grundy Productions for Sale of the Century for a long
Yes,
time.
absolutely. Well, it's we Sean and I both expressed an interest in getting into the industry, and Dad, as any dad would, right?
He was,
You're
he
any
was
dad's gonna or
earnest.
mother is gonna help their child in their career, and so Dad, helped my brother and I get our foot in the door, but it said, okay, that's your foot in the door. You got to go do the work. And we did.
Yes.
So my brother worked his butt off, and because he's really good at what he does and worked his butt off, he's hugely successful. And same thing with Card Sharks. I mean, Dad called Jonathan and said, hey, you got a job for my daughter. So I worked for $5 an hour answering telephone calls a few hours a week. So if someone called and they wanted to be on the show, they might have spoken to me saying, are you over 18 years of age? Have you ever been on a game show before? Have you seen the show? Can you come down Tuesday at 2:00 for an audition? So that was my job. But I would also go to the set with Dad, and I wasn't paid. I just went to learn. But rather than just sitting there on my butt, I was like, what can I do? So I literally schlepped coffee for free and ran papers, copied whatever the heck was needed. And I did that for quite some time. And then one day, I remember Jonathan Goodson was so sweet. He said, Erin, can you help us check the credits, check the crawl? We've got some changes to the crawl. Can you check them? I said, okay. Ooh,
To
big
credit
serious,
call,
right?
and you would check
Right.
them and make the editorial movements.
He'd added my name as a production assistant to the show.
Ah, nice.
I was thrilled because I've been just showing up for months, just schlepping coffee and doing whatever for free. But they put my name on the credits, and then eventually someone literally got in a car accident one day, and they said, "Okay,
Oh
you
my.
go do the job. Go do the job."
Woohoo. So
So,
you would check the credits and then you would point out the names.
well, Jonathan did that to have me see my name because it was a surprise
Oh,
that
nice.
my name had been added to the credits. So
Now I got it.
that was my thank you for schlepping coffee for free.
Awesome. So in addition, you did have kids on the show. Like you did have younger kids to teenagers on the show too, right?
We did. We had special weeks. We had some celebrity weeks, and we had the kids weeks, and those were fun. My dad, aside from being the MC, making sure the show was flowing and people understand the rules and being the entertainer and all that, he also felt an important part of his job was to make the contestants comfortable. And
Yes.
he truly, genuinely felt that something he had to do. So and so when the kids were there, he extra special was like doing his best to make those kids feel comfortable on that set.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the kids got their screen time along with the 18 and over.
That's right. And their college money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I guess they wanted people on the regular days to be 18 and over because
Yes.
I guess the demographic reasons, right?
Well, it's also legal reasons, right? So you've got to sign a release. So it's just easier when you've got someone over the age of 18 who can sign a release that has to be signed.
To be on camera, right?
Right.
Because this day and age, they don't want, like YouTube doesn't want kids on camera and they have to sign by their parents.
Well, of course, the kids would have parents sign because also, as you recall, during the end game of Card Sharks with the kids, a parent would join them because that's big money those kids were playing for. So a parent or guardian would come up on stage with them for the big money board, which made total sense.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So thank you for that insight, Erin. Yes. I want to thank you for that. And also, what was it like for you? We had your dad, Jim, the legendary Jim Perry, working on Sale from 1983 to 1989. And you produced the $25,000 Pyramid with Dick Clark. You were like the associate or the executive producer later on, I think.
Oh, executive producer, that would be Mr. Bob Stewart, the creator.
Oh, wow.
I started off as a production. That was my first job out of college. I was a production assistant on the $25,000 Pyramid. I eventually became the production manager. I eventually became the associate producer. And then when the $100,000 Pyramid came on, I was the associate producer of that. And the last season, I was one of the producers as well. So I actually have an Emmy nomination as one of the producers of that show, which I'm very proud of. But again, the credit goes to Mr. Bob Stewart, the creator of the show.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
I was just doing the job he taught me to do.
Yes. What would your dad's advice be to me and like maybe other people? I'm 40 years old, but I should know this advice myself. But there's like a lot of younger other people out there that want to get involved with or get started in the entertainment business, singing, doing game shows, dressing in drag, acting, or anything, being a production assistant, what you've done to singing or producing. How did your dad get involved with and started with the entertainment business to begin with? And what would your words of advice or his words of advice be?
Okay.
Both of your advice.
Very good and separate questions. To answer the first one about advice, he would say the same thing I would say, which is follow your passion. It's I forgot who said this. I'm gonna remember his name in a moment. Forgive me.
That's fine.
It's like you can do what you don't love and have a failure, or you can do what you love and hopefully succeed. But if you have a failure, at least you've followed what you love. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm a firm believer of follow your dream. And of course, we have our obligations to be met. We have rent to pay. And this is why thousands upon thousands of actors have those day gigs, working as waiters and waitresses to pay the bills while they also pursue their acting careers.
Myself included.
Yeah, of course. And musicians I know who worked in the mailroom of record companies to pay the bills while they were working to try and get those record deals. I mean, so there are plenty of people who have pursued the writer, the guy who's writing, the person driving a taxi while he writes his great American novel at night and on the weekends, So it's to do what you love. Why not? Why in the world should we? If there are people who the universe has given them tough journeys, shall we say, and as my father used to say, "There, but for God go I." So I can only do my best to put myself in someone else's shoes. But for most of us who are blessed with a little bit of luck, you know what? We can, if we're willing to work our butts off. Follow that dream and work at it. And my father always said, always take the meeting. That's another piece of advice he gave me. Always take the meeting. And I think that's a great piece of advice, because even if you're thinking, I don't know if I want that gig, and I take the meeting. And
always go to the meeting that they give you.
Always take the meeting, because even if you're
Good
thinking,
practice.
exactly, and because you never know who you're going to meet. And I will tell you that there's a true story about Dad's career back in the day. There was a show called, I think it was Moneymakers. Howard Felcher was the executive producer. Please forgive me, Howard, of Family Feud fame.
Yes.
And this was early 60s. And this was a pilot that Dad was hosting, and back in his young puppy days, right? And from what I heard from my father, they were there shooting for, it was a crazy long day. They were shooting into the wee hours of the evening, and Dad is cold calling people. Oh, and this is, I'm Jim Parrott, this game show, and la 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 la. And so he's having to explain phone call after phone call. Keep that MC energy up, keep that professionalism, keep that positivity up while he does these calls for this pilot, right? And fast forward to when he's being considered for Card Sharks. And Mark Goodson, executive producer, Howard Felcher, who was, I think, also at the time executive producer. I mean, they had seen footage of Dad in Canada, so they knew he could do the job and all that, but they're like, we don't know the guy. I don't know. And Howard, so my father told me, Howard told them the story of that pilot shoot and how Dad kept up his energy, kept up his positivity, kept up his professionalism, and just went way above and beyond what a lot of hosts would perhaps do in that situation.
Wow.
And that maybe was one of the reasons that cinched Dad getting the Card Sharks job. So a perfect example of, you never know what little steps will lead you to your dream.
You got it. Yeah. So he would randomly call people, like
that was part of the pilot. That was part of the pilot. As I'm trying to remember the story that was told to me decades ago. So
Bingo at Home, Metro Media, the Moneymaker.
I wrote it down, and let me just see if I think it was Bingo at Home, and I bet you Pip
could have been called them. It was like a by name, Bingo at Home.
It had two titles. It was Bingo at Home and something else. I bet Pip knows. Probably Pip can type in right now.
Pip, you can hear Aaron. Yeah. And you'll hear me later, Pip.
If I'm wrong, please, on that
Pip,
one.
I want to thank you for joining us, if you can hear me in the final product.
That is so cool. That is so cool that he's there. That is so amazing.
Yeah. It takes a lot to produce these coffee chat shows, especially that in a different day. Your dad didn't really work with computers. I heard he said...
No. When he wrote his book, he didn't even want to type. He learned to type when he was drafted during the Korean War, and he was like the 2-finger type, but he actually could type pretty well with 2 fingers. But
nice.
he wrote that first book, and even the second one with I have props.
Oh, nice. I got the book too.
Oh, so the first
Both
one
of
and
them.
second one, which is only that's his original, that's his handwriting there.
Nice.
That's
Can we see it a little closer? I'm sorry. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I could see part of it. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's the light in the camera. Yeah, this is awesome. I apologize.
No, excuse me, it's my lighting. So there you go.
That's good enough. I love it. There's got to be a pony in there.
And that's Dad's handwriting. And this is
Yeah.
the original for the second book, which I think is available digitally on Amazon. And
I got that one too.
I want to digress though, because my father, I'm so proud to say, never took any profits from the books. He only took enough money, donated all the profits to charity. He only took enough money to cover travel expenses, like if he was going to go do a TV interview or something like that, or so he just covered his travel expenses for doing promotion for the book. All profits were donated to charity. But anyway, so when he wrote this book, it was yellow pads, and I transcribed on his typewriter the first few chapters for him, So
nice.
No, Dad and computers, no, not
they didn't get along. He did. I heard from
I don't think he even tried. No.
I don't think he tried. I heard
No.
from there was one site that said he did get one of those rare emails from him, or maybe he passed it along to you to
My
type.
mom is the computer, is the
Yeah, she's more of the computer
Oh, she's
person.
computer savvy. Heck, she's
A
got a YouTube
techie.
channel, June's Tarot Journey. I think it's a June's Tarot Journey. Oh God, forgot. I'm sorry, Mom. June's Tarot Journey, I think it is. And so she's
You
got a
did
YouTube
that.
channel. She's got websites with her pot. You know, she's an amazing potter. She's retired from it now, so she was
Uh-huh.
an amazing potter. She could be if
Up
she still
until a
wants
few
to.
years ago.
And so she's got websites and Facebook pages with her chemistry is apparently quite famous among potters and all that. And so yeah, she's computer savvy. So if someone received an email from Dad, it was probably sent via my mother or I or me.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, because I decided I should get away from the computer half the time. I sometimes I wish I didn't get too close. Wish I would never touch the computer in my life because I liked the computers back in the day, but not today.
Yeah,
Because
it's an interesting challenge because with they're as long as we keep them a tool and they don't rule us, it's sort of like that. A lot of people misuse the term Luddite. And my father actually used to joke about being a Luddite
I know
himself. And but of course, a lot of people miss the Luddites, as I understand it, were not against technical advancements, but they were against the advancements being controlling us rather than us controlling the technical advancement.
exactly.
So that's why he used to joke about being a Luddite.
I know what you mean.
But you asked a second question, if I recall.
I don't remember what it was. I'm
You
sorry.
asked about his getting started in the industry.
Yeah, how did
Um,
he get started?
I can answer some of that, but I feel like I have some great areas. He was, in addition to being a basketball star, of course, in high school, 6'4", pretty darn tall back then.
Yeah.
He was also the singer in the soloist choir, church choir, altar boy dude.
Mhm.
So a beautiful, beautiful natural voice. And when he got drafted in the Korean War, he as the story I recall was on the boat going over to Europe. He met Mr. Bob McGrath of Sesame Street fame, and
Ah,
he and Bob became friends from that moment on. And Bob visited us in Canada, and they were on the Telemiracle telethon many years in a row together. Lovely, lovely, lovely
love
man.
that.
And they
Yeah.
bonded over their singing and their former altar boy experience. And they immediately were like, okay, what are we going to do on this ship? We don't want to be bored out of our mind. We also can we avoid swabbing the decks 8 hours a day? So as Dad told me many years ago, they ran to the priest or the minister on the ship and say, don't the boys need entertainment? We'll put on a show. And that's one of the early stories I know of him entertaining. And then when he got to Germany, where he was stationed, he was the singer with Armed Forces Radio and sang for the officers clubs and all that kind of stuff. So that was a start for him. And then when he got back to the US, he was at Grossinger's, which was training ground. Just incredible training ground. He took over, as I understand it, for Eddie Fisher as the band singer at
Yes.
Grossinger's. And but he also during the day would be out there emceeing. This is where he learned emceeing. So, oh God, I forgot the Yiddish term. There's a very famous man at Grossinger's who was famous for the Simon Says and all this, and he was like the guy. But so Dad learned from him, and so there were times when he was assisting him. There were times when he went off and did other things and emceed the sack races or whatever. So he learned how to entertain a crowd of people and have a game going and keep the energy going and keep the flow and then singing at night. So it was, and that's also where he met Mom. So, because mom was working as a makeup counter girl at Grow Singers. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's where he got started, and that's where I believe Sid Caesar saw him. I believe that's where Art Bear and Ben Jolson saw him. Love Boat fame, who also produced one of the early game shows that Dad did. So Grow Singers was training ground galore. The Army and the Grow Singers were training ground galore, as I understand it.
Yes, definitely. Hey, Aaron, I was gonna say, so from hosting those small events in a local community at Grossinger's, that's how he got his chops.
That's what he tells me. Yeah, that's what he told me. Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's because how do you learn to do that, right? I mean, it's an unusual skill to have up your sleeve.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So I wanted to go over some questions that were sent before the. I have a couple of friends, personal friends, and loyal friends and true of Jim from watching Card Sharks, some game show fanatics, I should say, game show fanatics, trying to find the right word. Yeah, and experts too. Cool. Brandon Hands, my music producer, has a question. What is your main motivation to keep on making art, especially your music?
It's an I have to thing. It's when I don't, I get anxious. There are periods, of course, when I need to stop because I need a rest, or I'm very busy doing other things. If I'm doing a small tour, I'm just busy doing the tour, and that's what I'm doing. But if I have space and I don't use it, I start to feel guilty. I start to feel and I've heard this from a lot of artists. There's this thing of, if you don't do what you're supposed to be doing, it's like you start beating up on yourself, and yet sometimes you resist it. So there's this little bit of fight. But once I get my butt in gear and pull out either the computer or that pad and paper and start being creative, whether I'm writing a poem or writing lyrics or whatever, I feel so much more complete. I just feel more at ease in my physical self.
That is awesome. That is a sweet story. I personally, I love to do artwork just for the thrill of it. It's nice to get paid for it when I do it on the small occasions. I'm more of a local. I wasn't as lucky like your dad, but I don't have that many contacts. I, of course, know Randy West and oh my God, who else?
Now, see, you're the artist, and Dad was an artist. That not my skill. I actually found a couple of little sketches he did for me, like the last year he was alive. He did these. Yeah, he used to do like little cartoons.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so that was just like little fun stuff. Now, if you give me a blank piece of paper, I'll write lyrics or a poem.
Yeah.
What you do, what my dad did, my brain doesn't think that way. I'm like, what do you mean you want me to draw a picture? No, I'm going to write words. It's just our brains are wired differently. Vive la différence.
Like either draw a picture, make a song is what I meant by art, or write a show like a screenplay. That's a good talent to have.
Fantastic to do that.
Yeah. Also, Jason Nadel, another friend of mine who's worked in News 12 in New Jersey, and he worked in the Atlanta Film Festival. He's now in Atlanta. Yeah. He says, how did you like working with Dick Clark on The Pyramid?
Oh my God, Mr. Pro. I mean, seriously, Dick, like my father, is one of those handful of guys who had a degree of professionalism and experience that was rooted in early radio and things like that. Not to take away from any other wonderful hosts there, but Dick and Dad, I remember when I would be producing promos with Dick, and he would be cold. And my dad is one of the few other people I know could do this. He wouldn't see the scripts beforehand. We would just have get the last 5 minutes of tape. This is tape days, right? The last 5 minutes of tape on the reel and shoot some promos. And we would have them on cue cards. And he'd say, how much, Aaron? How much time? And I'd say, you've got 10
Sorry,
seconds.
you cut
got
off
20
a
seconds.
bit.
You've got
Can you
30
repeat
seconds.
that?
And Dick,
Aaron, can you repeat that? I apologize. You cut off. There was a little bit of a computer problem.
just go. Okay, let's go. Boom. And 99 out of 100 times. I hate when that happens. And my father again, those days of radio, those years of radio, producer as well, brought something very different. My father thought like a producer. I'm curious to see
Hey,
if Pete
Aaron,
Wedge
can you repeat that
would
whole
agree.
story again? I apologize.
But
There's something wrong with my. There was something wrong with my computer connection.
No, sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
I would say no problem. Okay, cool. So working with Dick Clark, amazing. I mean, one of the best hosts ever. Ultimate professional guy, just smart. His radio background and his background as a producer, just so influenced him as a host as well, which is one of the reasons he was obviously so excellent at what he could do. My father also, and like I was saying, I'd be curious to see if Pip would agree, but as I observed my father, as I got older, he also thought like a producer. He very much thought like a producer in terms of protecting the show and decisions that were made, and Dick as well. Now, Dick, right? But Dick also had great respect for Bob Stewart. They went back many years. Bob Stewart, who created Price is Right and Password for Goods and Todman Productions and other shows, created the $10,000 and $25,000 Pyramid and many other shows. So Dick, while he had this incredible background as a producer, had great respect for Bob as a producer. So Dick really never crossed the line. He when he showed up, he was
very good, very good. Yes. The audio, we're having problems with my
he was amazing. And that's the story I told a moment ago. Oh, bummer, I hate that. But the story I was telling when the audio popped out was Dick, when I remember being on the set with Dick and we were producing promos. And this is the day of video. So we'd have a 90-minute video reel. But of course, the 90-minute reel would usually have about 95 minutes. So after we would shoot 3 shows, we would just take the last 4 or 5 minutes on the videotape and just add some promos on it. And Dick would have not seen the scripts in advance. But Dick, like my father, the few people I know, and again, nothing against other hosts out there who are so excellent at what they do, but this is a rare talent that Dick could just look at the card real quick, scan it, boom, say, Aaron, how much time do I have? And I'd say, you've got 30 seconds, Dick. And he would read it. And in one take, it would be in 29 or 29.5 seconds. Really 99 out of 100 times almost. Same thing with my dad. One take wonders. But again, this is their radio, live television backgrounds shining through. Oh, you froze.
Aaron, I heard you perfectly. Thank you so much. I'm trying to.
But of course.
And we're going to read one other one from Pip Wedge. His multi-year success as the host of Miss Canada's pageant, where he sang as well as hosted. You get to hear his singing chops.
Yes, indeed. Oh, Pip Wedge was writing that?
Yes, he that's a question from Pip Wedge, yeah.
Oh, I did. So please repeat it because I didn't quite get it.
No problem. This is from Pip Wedge again. He wanted to know about, and us to find out about Jim's multi-year success as the host of Miss Canada's pageant.
This is where I'd be great to get Pip Wedge on camera.
We have to do that. I'm gonna talk to Pip Wedge. If you can talk to him, send me email me his
Please,
contact information.
I mean, first of all, delightful man, amazing history as a producer.
Yes.
Pip, and as I said earlier, Pip and Dad were very good friends. My dad was very, very private man, but you know, this Pip was a friend, and Dad had huge respect for Pip, and I could tell you some funny stories about the Pip will know the story about baseball and something. I mean, they were real friendship. Had a real friendship, and Pip Wedge, of course, producer, executive at CTV. I mean, please, Pip probably answered this question better than I can. But I know that, you know, Dad is a wonderful singer, and the Miss Canada pageant for him, I know he enjoyed doing it. My father was not a big swearer. He really didn't swear all that often, and you know, he and our mother would definitely say your vocabularies are bigger than that, you know. So we were definitely discouraged from using poor language. But I know that when Dad came home from doing the Miss Canada pageant, like the next day he would swear because there's no chance you could be swearing on live television. So the next day he'd be just like, but that's it. One of the few times I would ever hear him swear would be like the day after the Miss Canada pageant. And of course, there's that very famous story about the time that someone broke into the studio and threw flour. And thank God it was only flour, Flour, flour.
Yeah. Female protester.
Yeah, and I remember that because you know, this is one of the things you just your instincts step in or they don't stand up to protect the woman next to him, the contestant next to him, which was just an unconscious thing. And he got the brunt of the flour, and thank God it was flour. And he said, if I recall correctly, something about, well, people have different opinions, but he kept it so calm.
So
but when he came home that night, he was like a little bit, ooh, you know, that, but he just had to be in that moment and be the professional that he was. And that, to me, that says a lot of who he was as a professional. He kept his cool, a certainly unscripted moment, and he totally kept his cool, kept the show going. I mean, I don't think you could handle that situation any better than he did. But I know that was he was a little shaken when he got home, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I heard about that on. I think one of the sites out there told me about this.
Yeah, I mean, it made news. I mean, it made news. I mean, because Miss Canada pageant, one of the biggest live programs in Canada at the time. So yeah, it was a big deal. And unfortunate that someone chose to do that.
Well, we're having some audio issues. I have to ask you.
I respect people having different opinions for sure.
Sorry.
But
Aaron,
attack other human beings.
Aaron, it may have sounded as if I was interrupting you, and I didn't mean to. I mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
No,
there's a massive delay right now on my Wi-Fi. I don't know, it's because of the distance we're in. You live overseas in Germany. I live in New Jersey in the US. It may be the Wi-Fi, but the internet connection has gone awful today, and Tom's River it has a tendency to do that.
My husband was a computer. Now, my husband put a new thing on my computer last week, so I'm pretty good now, because I was having freezing problems this month, but I don't think it's me, because I got new equipment from the computer expert husband. So if it's me, if I'm contributing to the problem, I apologize as well.
That's okay. No, you're not. I don't think it's you. I think it could be a combination of things, actually. But Aaron, can I?
But I'm sorry, I did not, because it froze. I did not hear what you were saying a moment ago.
let me answer. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just gonna answer. Include the distortion. We'll try to edit it out. Yeah, I was sure. Yeah, our friend Pip Wedge said that he was saying about if the recording that's going to go in the final product will include Aaron's voice without the distortion that he's getting. He can hear it too. Yeah, I said I'm going to try to edit it out. I'm going to try to see if I can make it sound clean, like legible. But I want to invite. Yes.
Oh, please. I was just gonna say I'm not hearing any distortion. It's just you're freezing sometimes.
No problem. No problem. Sometimes the computer does it, but Aaron, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I'll let you go. And
Pleasure.
I hope
thank everybody for their wonderful questions and for joining us.
Aaron, can I cordially invite you to come back on when my computer behaves itself? Be's nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Would you like to? That would be good. And we have more questions for you and Jim.
Absolutely, we can do that. I think we had I enjoyed this. We had a lovely conversation and we shared some cool moments and people asked great questions and happy to take off where we left off.
Absolutely. I thank you so much again for dealing with this. You have a wonderful day. And I'm going to stop broadcasting now. Pip Wedge, I want to thank you so much for joining us, Pip.
Thanks, Pip.
Thank you so much. We will see everybody again. You take care. And I'm going to end this with the theme song.
Well, peace out. Ciao.
Peace out.